Good afternoon and welcome to Oz After Dark. And I have a very special guest with me this week. Many of you know him from TikTok or Instagram, but now we're talking to him as Bernard Taylor for Congress.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for having me. Very much appreciate you taking the time to offer your platform to me and share this space with you guys.
I'm very excited that you're one of the voices in Florida that has opted to fight for democracy in Florida's 21st district. You're in 24. 21.
Who knows
Which
how
is
they
just
do these
south of
lines?
me. You are not very far from where I am. So it kind of starts at like Vero Beach and kind of spans down to West Palm. The district was held by a Democrat once upon a time until Florida gerrymandered the districts in 2020. And then it produced the epic piece of shit we all know as Brian Mast. Gonna clap for that one. Brian Mast, horrible human being.
That is an accurate portrayal of the last.
That's exactly how it happened.
The last 5 years, absolutely.
Yeah. Bernard is a firefighter and paramedic, first responder, and community advocate who has been very active about mental health, affordable housing, equal rights, equal protections under the law. I mean, I came across your platform just being local in Florida and seeing your positive messages about mental health. And that's when I personally had clicked the subscribe, because I really feel like mental health matters super, super much. And especially being a Black man, using your platform to reach out for Black men who often the stigma of mental health is so just, we don't talk about it.
No, and it's unfortunate because, again, especially given my profession and the challenges that comes with the things that we see on a daily basis. Keep in mind, when someone calls for 911, they're literally calling at one of the lowest points in their life at that point in time, and that may be one for them because, again, it's their own personal experience. But imagine seeing that 12 to 15 times in the same day, 15 people calling you at the lowest point in time that they're experiencing, and they need help. They need you to come and help them. So to see that over and over again and not think it doesn't take a toll on your mental health would be a disservice to your body and to your mind. So you have, especially with my career, and especially on top of that, being a Black man in this country, with all the generational things that are passed down and the things that we have to deal with on a consistent basis, you have to have a strong mental health support system. You have to take care of yourself mentally, because it can be overwhelming, and it can at any point in time lead to an unfortunate incident, or possibly even end up you harming yourself. So we want to nip that in the bud. We want to make sure that people know that there are opportunities and people that are willing to help and speak, and people that are willing to give them the help that they need in order to thrive, in order to prosper, in order to deal with everything that comes with, living in this country these days.
It's just really exhausting, especially being smart or informed right now with everything going on. It's so stressful. And I know that I find a very thin line of being able to maintain my mental health and do what I do on a daily basis and keep everybody informed and do the news and dive into it and look at all of the icky things going on in the world. And it's like, even last night, I actually sat down on the couch and started reading the Diary of Anne Frank because I wanted to highlight some chapters. But locally, there was a toddler who ran into the road chasing a dog in Daytona Beach and was hit by a car. And when that car hit that toddler, it was then hit by another car, and it was all over the local Facebook pages. And I just had to, because being somebody who is so empathic, though, just reading the comments or just the idea of it all, like, that was it for me. I was done. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go smoke some weed, eat some cake pops that my son's girlfriend made, and play Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's definitely a good coping mechanism, absolutely. But that's the thing, though, and that's you seen that one story. So
Yeah,
imagine
just
doing,
one, and
yeah,
that's all day,
yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
So imagine doing that, seeing that happen, responding to that call, and then 5 minutes later, okay, you got to do something. You got to do another one.
You gotta do it
You got to
again.
do it again. You got to do it
Gotta jump and do it again.
again.
And it takes a special kind of person to be a first responder. I hand it to you because the people who are working in the medical field, emergency rooms, I started watching The Pit. I
Oh,
don't know if
great
you've
show.
watched that.
Great show.
Amazing. If you haven't watched The Pit, 10 out of 10, I highly recommend it. Um, there was a mass shooting in this season, and that episode, I literally just watching that show on the couch turned white as a sheet, had to put my feet up and thought I was going to pass out
Mm.
just from seeing it on a fake television
Show.
show.
Yeah,
Mm-mm, mm-mm. I can't do it.
yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that that's the world we live in, where
Yeah,
there's enough evil in people's hearts and evil in people's minds that they can actually bring themselves to do these types of things. And yeah, as we just witnessed another school shooting here at Florida State University, and the fact that one of the kids involved was a kid
that's
that
from
was involved
Parkland.
in Parkland. Like so,
And you know what? It's so personal to me because I graduated with Vicky Soto, who was killed in Sandy Hook. We had gone to school together from middle school straight through high school, and that was I don't understand how we could have lived through that as a country. And then my dog really wants to be in the conversation. I don't know how we all could have lived through that and then not did anything. And I know that there were shootings before Sandy Hook. We had Columbine and Virginia Tech and all the things that we grew up with, but I feel like Sandy Hook was different. It was where instead of like high school kids, we saw these first graders, a whole
babies.
classroom of first graders. And we did nothing.
And unfortunately, that's when I knew, after not seeing enough outrage to change things, after a classroom full of babies, like babies were taken away from this place. When I saw that there was no significant change after that, I kind of became very cynical that change would
Oh,
never
yeah.
happen, because if a classroom of children being, you know, being gunned down, it's not enough for us as a society to actually look inward and make some real positive change. Then what's it going to take for it to happen?
What's going to
And
be
I just don't
enough?
know the
Yeah.
answer.
And it's sad that there isn't an answer because then we see lather, rinse, repeat for the last decade. Those kids should have graduated high school this year, last year.
Yeah.
Either, I mean, it's just a shame that, and it's a uniquely American problem because we don't see this around the globe and in other places, um,
And
which is,
I won't say that there is no answer. I'll take that back. There's an answer. We just have to get the right people with
oh,
the
yeah.
right mindset
Well, we
into
need to
these
take
offices.
money out of politics. We
Exactly.
need
Exactly.
a rollback of Citizens United because you can see the direct correlation with Citizens United and dark money just
Yep.
infiltrating our politics. And until we get people in there who do genuinely want to make a change and fix these problems, um, we have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who are there to showboat
Oh,
and insider trade.
bro, that something that lady irks my soul. It's a few of them that just irk my soul to the core. And between her and Byron Donald, every time I hear his name, like my I feel like I could commit some things that I don't need to say on air. But it's just like just my soul is disturbed when I see
Yeah.
some of these people. The guy in your district, he's another one. Like you out here
Oh,
putting
Corey
your hands on
Mills.
and all type of stuff. Like the lady from Colorado, Miss Bobert, and her craziness. Like, and I,
I'm just I'm dumbfounded that there's so much chaos going on in the Republican Party that my representative, Corey Mills, could be have the police called for a domestic violence dispute with a woman who is not his wife, not the mother of his children, some 26-year-old uh Iranian American with family ties to, money overseas. How was she with you in Dubai? You go back on that lady's Instagram page, and I say lady in a very loose way because she's a child
Right.
in reality. And for this district where I live, for the representative for this district to be living in a $7,000 a month penthouse in Washington, D.C., when this is a district where you are a very bread and butter, red working class district, where the disconnect is great, but the people don't see it.
And that's one of our big challenges over the next 18 months before the midterms is getting getting our opportunities and using our voices to connect these dots, because again, a lot of people are so disconnected, or they're so not interested. We have to make sure we are galvanizing them. We have to make sure that we are getting their attention and keeping them interested and keeping them informed and connecting these dots. We have to make these connections with these politicians, and the fact that they're not representing their actual districts, they're representing their pockets, they're representing the
Mhm.
donors, they're representing the dark money, and we have to do a much better job as people and as a party to actually make these connections and focus on the bread and butter, and focus on the 80% that all of us can agree on, and not
Mhm.
let ourselves get out into the outskirts, into the weeds, and into the extremes, and trying to um go down with that fight. We need to make sure we're focused on the fight that's in front of us, the fight that unites all of us, which is our pockets. And I feel like if we can do that, again, we can actually start to get the right people in and make the right changes.
Well, I mean, I think that people fall for the clickbait is what it boils
Absolutely.
down to.
Absolutely.
We have foreign countries that have sophisticated propaganda campaigns that are sowing disinformation in America as we speak. That's what they've been doing for years. It's working very well for them, from places like Russia or North Korea, or these places that have these sophisticated bot farms and things like that. It's nothing new. It's been going on since the Barack Obama years. I mean, that's when that really began. Um, and at the end of the day, people, what they're seeing online is the Republican Party taking niche issues like
Mhm.
transgender athletes, which impacts fucking less than 1% of 1% of our population,
Exactly.
that nobody gives a flying fuck about except for some mad, angry men in the South who are turned on by trans women and very angry about it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then they think that that's the issue. No, the issue is right now they're cutting programs like Medicaid and Medicare, where Casey DeSantis and Ron DeSantis are fucking stealing from to fund special interest campaigns on the ballot. That's a whole nother story in itself. But they are taking these niche issues and they're taking all of these cuts from important programs like Head Start for our children so that they can give tax breaks to people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos.
And that's, again, it's so important for us to get that message out and make people understand that. I had a conversation this morning. I was doing another kind of panel with a morning radio show, and I was talking with him, and I was saying like, hey, I'm for everybody. Love who you love. Everybody has the right to be who they want to be.
Mhm.
At the same time, we can't let them make, like you say, these niche subgroups, like the the basis, the foundation of what we're arguing for. Because once we get out into those areas, unfortunately, they have more of the winning side when it comes to that
Hmm.
stuff. Because it's a lot more people in this country, whether you're a red voter or a blue voter, whether you're Democrat or Republican. There, a majority of the country doesn't want to see uh, trans athletes in like different sports. It's unfortunate. I wish it wasn't that wasn't the case. But when you're talking about winning elections, and when you're talking about strategizing, and you're talking about coming to a common ground, again, you're talking about less than 1% of the
Hmm.
population. And again, it's
And
not
that's
trying to
when,
exclude anyone. It's actually we're trying to strategize and get into the places so that we can be more progressive and make sure we're protecting the rights for these people to live how they want to live and do and love who they want to love.
and the most important part of it all is that when these niche issues come up, we need to redirect.
Every time. Every
We
time.
need to redirect. We need to not entertain it anymore. Whether somebody's trans or not, they're still an American citizen.
Absolutely.
They're still afforded their rights under the Constitution because they're a person in this country, period. On to the next issue. The issue is the prices are too damn high.
Absolutely.
The grocery prices, as much as Donald Trump wants to get on Truth Social and say that they are 84% lower now, like he said this morning, no, bitch, they are not.
Eggs,
They're going up.
eggs are not 60 cents a carton. I don't know what you're
I
talking
bought eggs, cost me $8 for a dozen and a half,
about. Oh
bitch,
my gosh.
so that these kids could make a mess in my kitchen the other night.
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think. Well, I know he's not a bright man, but you got to be at least a little bit better with your numbers, sir. Like, you so
He just pulls it out of his ass. He just wakes up every morning and he's like, boop, 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 boop. Let me make up a new reality.
like I don't understand, and it's unfortunate that there are too many people that buy into the nonsense and don't look beyond the surface level stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to look beyond the surface level
Well, that's the
stuff.
problem. If they can, if a billionaire can convince you that the real enemy is the other person just trying to do the best for their family, like immigrants in America, nobody is coming here because they want to fucking walk from Central America here because they're fleeing gang violence or whatever. And these situations that were created in South America were created by America. We created it. When we armed the Iran Contra and all, they were given the guns willingly to the fucking cartels. We're the ones that armed them.
Exactly.
And George Bush Sr., the first one, fucking covered it up. And you know who his attorney general that covered it up was? Fucking Bill Barr.
It all comes back. It always
History.
circles around. It always circles around, and we keep riding the same crazy roller coaster. And one of these days, we have to get off. One of these days,
Well, the problem is trickle down economics don't work. And that's what the Republicans want you to believe. They want you to believe that if we give these billionaires tax breaks, these massive tax breaks, which, mind you, we started in 2017.
Mhm.
Okay. So we've already given them a couple of years to try and have the impacts of, oh, they're going to create jobs. They're going to bring prices down. They're going to make America. No, they're not. They pocketed all the fucking money.
We have been hearing about this quote unquote trickle down economics since before you and I have even been born. Like it's
Exactly.
been going on. You've had 40 years, more than 40 years to show us
Figure it the fuck out.
that you can actually. Because in theory, I try to be very rational and logical. In theory, the idea of we're going to cut the taxes for the rich people, and that in turn is going to make them so happy that they're going to raise our wages. They're going to pay more into these benefits. They're going to pay into the infrastructure. They're going to do all these things and still keep more of their money. That way, it's a win-win. In theory, that sounds great.
That's how it's
You,
supposed to work.
you had 40 years to test your theory, and in 40 years of your trust me, bro, we got you. In your 40 years, you haven't been proven to be
Nope.
untrustworthy. So I
Well,
don't.
not only that, but it's like you have all these Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Elon Musk, he's the richest man in the world. Where are all the Elon Musk cancer wings?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I see fucking retired NASCAR driver Tony Stewart opening a cancer wing for kids cancer in somewhere in the Midwest or North Carolina or wherever he lives, and he has a hell of a lot less money.
Hmm.
Where's the Mark Zuckerberg cancer wings or the Jeff Bezos research facilities or the infrastructure, the bridges they've funded, the where is it?
No, they're too busy shooting off rockets that don't make it 100 feet in the air.
We'd rather send
Yeah,
Katy Perry to space for 20 minutes
yeah,
and pretend like it's some type of feminist revolution when women are dying from fucking being denied basic medical care.
exactly.
You have a baby in Texas and you have a miscarriage, you might die.
Facts. Absolutely. Absolute
And if
facts.
you're a black woman, you're more likely to die during childbirth and after childbirth. Serena Williams caught herself having a fucking pulmonary embolism because the fucking hospital staff weren't paying attention to what she was telling them.
And again, stories like that, and just again connecting these dots, it's just the same nonsense, the same insanity. And it comes to a point where us as a people, us as a society, we can't just sit back and not be the instruments and the voices of regular everyday Americans. We have these politicians that are handpicked by these big political PACs and by these big corporations, and they are funded, their campaigns are given millions of dollars to put them in office so that they can be lobbied and take the kickbacks and be influenced by these special interest groups. It's been a cycle that we've been unfortunately stuck in for the majority of the existence of this country, and
Mhm.
it has to be a true people powered revolution. We have to get people in there like myself who aren't going to be swayed by these big corporations, these big super PACs. That's one thing about my campaign that I make sure I make very clear. My campaign doesn't accept any donations from any corporations or any big super PACs. This is strictly a grassroots movement and a grassroots campaign. I'm going to win this strictly off the power of the people. And we need to have more candidates like that. If we have 435 representatives of the people, we can actually have change in this country. And until we get a
Absolutely.
majority of representatives and not politicians in our government, things won't change.
And if there's a campaign that I have faith in this area, it's you unseating Brian Mast. Let's talk about Brian Mast
Yeah.
a little bit. He is one of those Chad bros that looks like a walking penis on the House floor. He is one of the Trump apologists. He is one of the extreme MAGA Republicans. He's very proud of that. And he unseated a Democrat in that seat after they gerrymandered Florida in the 2020 census.
Yeah, so my district here, again, it contains St. Lucie County, Martin County, and parts of North Palm Beach County. Um, the midterms will be 2026. Midterms are coming up. We need, last time I checked and looked at the numbers, we need about 180,000 votes to win. That's going to be the goal. That's the number we have in our head to try to get. Right now in this district, there are 5,000 more registered Republicans than Democrats. So we have to get the registration numbers up. We have to encourage voter turnout. We have to start to spread the message and getting people excited about next year and excited about the possibility of getting out Brian Mast and electing myself into Congress. I attended the town hall that he finally had after 2,600 days of not having a town hall. He hasn't had a town
Wow.
hall since he got elected. So
Not surprised though.
finally was able to go and see and sit down in a room I expected to be heavily like MAGA. Let's go, Brian. And the reaction and the reception and the amount of people in there that were just absolutely disgusted and absolutely like turned off by the way he was responding, the smugness, the arrogance. A room that should have been maybe 80-20 red versus blue was actually more 55-45 blue over red, which, if you know anything about Martin County, Florida, that is ridiculous. So that alone encouraged me that I was making the right decision. That there are enough people that are tired of the nonsense, that are tired of um, the not working for the people and instead working for the personal interest groups, the Israeli interest groups. You know, him being that he is a dual citizen, he's not just an American citizen; he's an Israeli citizen. So it's kind of
That's very
funny.
interesting. I wonder the legality of that in Congress.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
That
'Cause
is an
it's like,
excellent question. Do we have any ACLU attorneys around?
so it's definitely an interesting thing to look into. But just seeing again,
He served in their military too,
yes, he
right?
did. Yep, he was the guy that wore the Israeli uniform in the halls of Congress
Yeah, that's
after.
what I thought.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
again,
Hmm.
I'm not saying, but
Particular. I've got some questions.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I know MAGA likes a good conspiracy theory. There's one for you right there if you want to go down that rabbit hole.
Got some
But
questions.
he definitely. I got a clip from that town hall that I'm gonna save for next year. But when I don't expect things to get better. So by this time next year, when election season start picking up even more, he made sure that in his own words, I'm not misquoting him. He aligns with everything that the president is doing. So he bears responsibility for everything that the
Well,
president is
he's
doing.
there co-signing it all.
Exactly. So when it comes around next year and the people are disappointed and discouraged and disheartened by everything that the president is doing, I am going to remind the people of this district that their congressman is 100% aligned with everything that the president is doing. And if you aren't aligned with those issues, you might want to vote for me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you might want to vote
Yeah,
elsewhere. You
just
might
saying.
want to vote for the candidate that actually cares. And I think, like I said before, we need to continue to redirect back to the issues that people care about, the bread and butter,
Yes.
the bill. It's not left versus right, blue versus red
Nope.
at this point. It's the working class versus the rich. And
100%.
the fact that Donald Trump went to Washington with this whole drain the swamp um, mentality and then built the swamp in our like the amount of swampy shit that's going on within the government. What?
He yeah.
It's it makes my head hurt.
He took the swamp and put a resort in it. He put a resort in the swamp
My
and
God.
and a golden resort at that. And
It's
I'm
and
not
it's so
understanding.
fucking tacky. I'm so goddamn sick of them letting tacky Onassis redecorate shit in the White House. Get that bitch out of there. And now you got Pete Hegseth putting in a makeup
Oh,
studio at the Pentagon.
that's another one. Oh my
What?
God, that's another one that irks my soul. Like, bro, like, and I have family members that serve in the Air Force and in the Navy and in the Army, and it's just an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. And some of them are still active, so they can't. You know how that goes. You can't really express how
You
you
can't
really
really say
feel.
nothing.
But they let me know. They definitely are in my ears saying the things that they want to say, but they can't say. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when I'm saying things, it's a lot of times it's some people that
It's
I
what
know
they're thinking on the
personally.
inside.
Yes, exactly. Trust me, it's some people
The
on the inside
one thing
that
that I've
fear me the
noticed
information.
going to the protests the past couple weeks that we've been having locally that have been everywhere, all over America, um, a lot of veterans, a lot of older veterans. I had one gentleman that I talked to this past week. He had a great sign. Um, he'd been protesting since the 60s. He's like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of being out here and having to say the same things over and over again.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a six. That's 80 years. 60 years.
Dude, I'm telling you, hold on, let me get my phone. Bro was his sign was the best thing I had ever seen too.
Crazy.
Um, but yeah, he was like, I can't believe that I'm still having to do this. Um, that's my oh, it's gonna be all blurry. Damn it.
I
But
tried to make it out.
it
I
says,
was gonna
"Come
see
on,
it
people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and impeach this motherfucker right now."
now.
And like when he took his picture, he
Love
gave me
it.
like the peace sign and he like put his face behind his sign and stuff. He was super cute.
Oh, I love it.
Um,
Absolutely love it.
yeah,
But they're correct though. Like people want to act like history was that long ago. We're not. that far away. We're not that far removed from that generation. We're a
Mm-mm.
generation and a half, maybe two generations. We're not that far removed. Even
My grandfather fought
yeah,
Nazis.
that's what I'm saying. It's like
My grandfather was literally injured in Italy and like got hurt. So they were like, oh, we can't put you back into battle. So we're going to send you to France instead. And you're going to be part of the USO because he was fluent in French.
yeah.
So he was a translator for the USO during, he got to meet like Bing Crosby and shit. It was
Oh,
really fucking
nice.
cool.
Absolutely. That's
I
what's
wish
up.
that I would have gotten some of his stories, though. He passed away 5 days after I was born.
Oh,
So I only get the hand me down stories.
gotcha, gotcha. But I'm saying though, that's what I mean. Like we're still those close to those generations. So
Yeah.
don't think that it's not enough people around that are manipulating things enough to where they can get things quote unquote great again.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, there's a lot of people in that generation that are still around. There's a lot of people in that generation, like those stories that got passed down on to you from your grandfather, from your parents. Those same opposite stories, the evil stories, they get passed down between generation and generation.
Mm-hmm.
So especially as a black man, it irks me when people be like, "Oh, why can't you just let things go? Things are not the way they are, and those people don't exist no more." I'm like, well, you are sadly mistaken, sir.
They are
That are
everywhere.
these people that are in those history books that have pictures of themselves at these civil rights movements
Are still
screaming,
alive.
they're still alive. And they have kids that they were raising that are still alive. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those kids, they don't change their ideology. They may not be as open about it, but
Mm-hmm. But it's
they're
still there.
still around and they're still teaching
We
their
live in an
children.
area that has so many hate groups.
Yeah.
Like Florida is like the hate group capital. You got the Proud Boys, you got the Aryan Brotherhood, you got the real nasty of the nasty Nazis down here. And you know, we see it. So this week my I gave the offer to all three of my kids if they wanted to come with me on Saturday, and my boys were like, no. And my daughter was like, maybe, you know. So I was getting ready to leave, and she decided she wanted to come with us.
Okay.
So we quickly printed out a sign at CVS so that we could get one of those little sticky signs, and we just stuck it on another sign. Worked out really well. But it was magical as a parent to watch her at that protest because I just let her do her own thing, take it in as she wanted. By the end of it, she was chanting with everybody. She was in the crowd. This is what democracy looks like. She was in it.
That's
And I
what's
couldn't be more proud.
up.
I was like, I did it.
Yeah, you did it. You were the right influence, and we need more people to be the right influence. We can't let the sacrifices and the fights that previous generations did for us, that they fought and some died for us. We can't let it die, man. We can't let it be forgotten, and we can't let it die within us. Each generation before us has fought to get us to where we are now. So we can't be complacent. We have to fight for the generations after us.
Absolutely.
If the generations before us decided to give up because things were too hard, or things looked like they weren't going to change, or things looked like it was never going to be any different, where would we be? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If people just gave
exactly.
up. So when people ever
Not
ask,
even that, but even since 2020, when George Floyd was killed and the protests that came from that, the momentum has been building.
mhm,
We've been doing the work. We can't slip back. And this entire election was exactly that.
yes. Yeah, the fact that 90 million people didn't even bother is not good.
Pisses me off.
There's more there again, looking at the numbers, there are more people that did not vote and voted against than actually voted for this man. So every time I hear somebody talks, oh, this mandate, like, bro, shut up.
It's not a
Ain't
mandate.
no man. You just had enough people not care and enough people dumb enough to actually let you do this again. So I
Hmm.
don't want to hear nothing about no mandate. There's no
Yeah,
overwhelm.
this is what you get. This is what happens when you stay home
Yes,
because you're not
exactly.
excited about whoever's running. Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up, you fucking petulant children.
Absolutely.
You spoiled, rotten, little fucking entitled brats.
Absolutely.
Every last one of you that stayed home. And I will fucking say that one and take that one to my grave with me.
Absolutely.
Everybody that stayed home because they were pissed off about X, Y, or Z, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Look at what you got. You ready for Trump Gaza?
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Oh, that whole movement there was just like, how can you sit there and think that this person was going to be the one that was the right choice for that movement? Like,
I hope that their lesson
yo,
that they were trying to teach was worth it.
goodness. Like I say, I thank God that we had generations before us that didn't think like that. That weren't like, I'm
Listen,
not excited about the candidate.
I miss
I
Barack.
know.
Listen.
Think about it as a Black person. All these different candidates we had to vote for that both were racist. Like, absolutely, we know deep down inside. Even Lyndon B. Johnson, who gave us the civil rights movement, would look me in the face and call me an N-word freely. Like, wouldn't even be no issue. But those are the choices that we had to have, and we had to look beyond those things because, again, we had to think about the long-term picture. Were we excited about any of those candidates? No. But what candidate was going to be the
that
best
was like
for
Joe
us?
Biden, too. Who was really excited about Joe Biden in 2020? Joe Biden's basically a Republican.
Yes.
An old school Republican. He's a centrist. And the fact that there were people that were like, oh, he's such a left wing. What?
Yeah.
What planet are you on? Joe Biden's basically like a Diet Coke Republican. Nobody was excited about it, but he was the guy that we needed to do the job at that point in time to fix the fuck up of what the first Trump administration gave us. Who are we going to have? I don't know. Let's hope that they do roll back this fucking the amount of terms that presidents can run. We can bring back Barack to fix all this shit because I'm pretty sure he's the only motherfucker that can at this point.
I don't think Michelle will let him
Michelle will be like, no. Michelle will be like, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not
gonna do it. I'll be the Melania of this. I'll be at some penthouse somewhere.
Right. I will show up for like 2 events a year.
Exactly. Oh man, no, I don't know what we're gonna do in 2028. I just know that right now for 2026, we got to get enough people in Congress and in these houses to actually be a co-equal branch of government and do the legislative work that is entitled and control the purse strings that is entitled to the lawmaking body of Congress. That's the very first thing. Once we
need a Congress with a backbone.
Exactly. We need people to actually.
Because none of this is normal.
Because again, co-equal, meaning nobody is above the other. Checks and balances. It is ridiculous that the Speaker of the House is nothing more than just an extension of the president. That should never be the case. The Speaker of the House is the Speaker of the House. It is not an extension of the president. It is his own branch of government. You represent the representatives and the people of those districts. And the fact that we don't have a legislative divide. We don't have the judicial. We can't really rely on the Supreme Court, even though they have been, they have been actually giving. I
think that we're going to be surprised by them soon.
So I think, again, they have given us some favorable rulings over the past couple of times. So I'm very encouraged.
I'm wondering how long they'll allow this to go on before they're like, about that ruling where we told you you could do anything you want.
Yeah.
We're going to take that back.
Yeah. And I think, like with anything, I think I'm actually hoping that egos start to take place in certain people. And it's just like, wait a damn minute. I'm a Supreme Court justice. Like, no.
I can't wait until they all start fighting because it's coming.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, hold on. You ain't be this way.
I was listening to NPR this morning. They were talking about how there was a report of Elon Musk and Scott Bassett screaming in the halls of the White House. Girl.
I was like, okay, that's how y'all
girls are fighting. No wonder Elon's person for the IRS got the boot. He was out there acting out in the hallway. They better put him on JFK's autism registry. Get him on there first. He's number 1. Start at the top.
Oh man, absolutely. Put him number 1. We got to make sure we know.
He's got all the money in the world to fix it. Yeah. Fix his disease, RFK, right? You asshole. Fuck you. Fuck him too.
Yeah, he's
On
another
behalf of
one.
all the tistics out here,
Yeah, he's another
fuck
one.
you.
And as a parent of a child with autism, I want to slap shit out of him if I see that man telling some putting them on the registry. But again, knowing history, being students of history, all this stuff has been done. All this stuff has been
Mm-hmm.
done before. It was repackaged and made to seem like it wasn't the same. But this ain't nothing but
It's just
1930s
eugenics.
Germany in
Yep.
in a repackaged form.
Yeah,
And
let's start giving moms medals
yeah,
for having babies.
exactly,
What?
exactly,
Absolutely
exactly.
not.
When we
Stop
got
it with your
babies,
crotch goblins.
4 and 7 year olds standing in courtrooms having to represent themselves. I was,
What about those
yeah,
kids?
like what are we doing? Like you got a 4 year old.
Actually, speaking of the kids, today ProPublica published a very long expose on all of the things that the Trump administration are doing to disenfranchise children, like the closing of Head Start and things like that. Very interesting read at ProPublica today. So I suggest everybody go check that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to do a tickety tockety about it later.
Oh, tickety tockety. I like that. I'm start saying that tickety tockety.
That's what I call them.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's things like even here in our own state of Florida, rolling back child labor laws. You know what would be a good
Hmm.
idea to make up for all the immigrants that we're getting rid of? Let's have 14-year-olds be able to work the overnight shift on school nights. Like,
Right?
how does okay, first of all, what parent is like my 14-year-old kid, I'm gonna let them stay out all night?
Well, that's the problem. It'll only impact kids from poverty stricken
Yes.
families.
Yep.
It's going to impact minorities. It's going to impact kids whose parents are not feeding them
Mhm.
or not doing the right thing as
Mhm.
parents.
Absolutely.
This is going to take the most vulnerable of our child population in the state and it's going to exploit them.
Yes.
So essentially, what Ron DeSantis wanted to do, because this rollback came as a suggestion from his office,
Mhm.
not the Florida legislature,
Mhm.
this was Ronnie Boy's idea
Mhm.
because he could roll it back for cheap labor that they're losing from immigrants
Yes.
here in the state. So, yeah, you really want to protect the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, though?
Exactly. I don't. Again, your actions speak different, sir. Like I'm not for the words and the quote unquote trust me, bros, because I can read and I see your actions and I see what you're putting on paper. And you're telling
Mm-hmm.
me that we don't need all these immigrants, we don't need all these migrants that come here and do the jobs that nobody wants to do. But once you get rid of them, now it's like, we need a labor force. You know what?
You
Let's
go
exploit the
go
children.
drive around a neighborhood that's being built right now in any one of your
Oh yeah.
community,
Oh
in
yeah.
anyone. And who are you seeing on the roofs of those houses in August fucking for 8 hours a day?
Mm-hmm.
It sure as fuck ain't anybody that's white.
Sure ain't. Absolutely not. I work out and my sometimes I have to work way out in the Belglade area, right around Lake Okeechobee, and out there in them sugarcane fields, and out there in them orange groves, and out there picking them fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see nobody that requires sunscreen. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So y'all
Nobody out
think
there
it's a game?
glowing like I do.
No, absolutely not. You think it's a game out there?
It's
I
not.
I
It's
have such
not.
respect for those people, man.
When I
I worked out there in the landscaping business when I was coming up,
mm-mm.
and I don't wish that on nobody.
When I worked in real estate, I did property management, and we had a variety of different people that would come through. But there was one guy that would always come the first Friday of the month with his money order. He didn't speak English, so he would give me his AT&T bill
Hmm.
for the address. So I would copy it down and I would fill out his money order for him because he didn't know how to.
Hmm.
But he was always there on the first, always, never fucking failed. But then you would have the other people who would pull up in their brand new sports car and for the third time in 2 months, oh, I have a payment plan, and only come in and pay like $300 of your $2,500 rent. What?
Wow, wow.
But it just goes to show the hardest working people in our society are the people that you don't even see,
Hmm.
you aren't even paying attention to,
Yep.
and they're the ones that are paying their bills on time and minding their own fucking business
And
because they
making this
just
country work.
want to exist.
Yeah, and making this country work the way it does. And and not asking for anything in return, but to have a good life and have a good opportunity to take care of their families. That's all they want.
Exactly.
And
That's it. Like Anthony Bourdain used to say about anybody that worked in a kitchen, these, no matter where they come from, no matter who they are literally just trying to make their lives better for themselves, their families, take care of their kids. Anything that you're trying to do, I'm trying to do. At the end of the day, that's all that anybody's trying to do. You don't know the struggles that other people are going through, but you can assume that sometimes they're very similar to what you are dealing with. That bill you can't pay, the tax man's knocking, you got problems, you got child support,
mm,
you got a baby daddy that ain't paying his child support. Well, guess what? They just made it easier to not find him
yeah,
because they're defunding all of the federal systems that they use to track child support right now. Hey, that was in the ProPublica article this morning too.
just taking everything from us. They're targeting the most vulnerable of us, all to fund tax cuts for people
For the people
who
that
don't
already
need them,
have the most.
that don't need them, and for the people who have the most. And it is
Yeah.
absolutely infuriating that us working class people cannot come together and realize that we are being robbed every
Yep.
single day.
We
So
need
that,
more Luigi's.
oh yeah, oof.
Whole
Look
lot of more Luigi's.
here.
Well, with that being said, why don't you give everybody all of your information, your website, if anybody wants to make donations to your campaign, give them all the information where they can find you.
Guys, if all you guys type in Bernard Taylor for Congress, I'm Bernard Taylor for Congress across all social media platforms. So whichever social media platform you prefer, I'm on it. So Facebook, Instagram, tickety tockety, like my lady Danielle says, Blue Sky, all those places. Unfortunately, I had to jump back on X because I have a campaign now. I didn't have an X account for the longest, but I got a campaign I'm trying to run, so I had to jump back on quote unquote X. So, but anywhere,
Sometimes you just have to take one for the
yeah,
team. I
unfortunately.
know. Sometimes I'm like, I should reactivate my account because I just want to go on there and look. And they make it so you can't even like look at
No, you
tweets
have to
unless
be
you like
logged in.
log in.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? When did that happen? He ruined everything.
No,
He
he
brought
said,
the Nazis and the technical problems.
"Oh no," he said, you gonna log in to see these
God
tweets."
damn it.
So yeah, it's Bernard Taylor for Congress everywhere. Also, my website, bernardtaylorforcongress.org. If you go there, there's a donation link. You could donate to the campaign. Also, there's a sign up list for anybody who wants to volunteer to help the campaign. If you want a phone bank, if you are in the area, when the time's to come canvassing, we are doing petitions to get our name on the ballot. We are doing petitions, so we need a total of about 7,000 signatures. The number of signatures is 5,100, but we want to give ourselves the buffer of them tossing out signatures. So our goal is 7,000 signatures to petition ours to get my name on the ballot.
So if you're in Florida's 21st congressional district, you're going to have to go ahead and fill out a petition to get him on the ballot. Now, come on.
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. But that's it. Again, I'm running down here in Florida, Congressional District 21. That's St. Lucie County, that's Martin County, and that's Northern Palm Beach County. We're trying to make change. We're trying to get real people into the office to represent the people, and it can't happen without the people. So I thank you guys in advance for all your support. I thank my friend Danielle for allowing me opportunity to come here on this platform with her and chop it up and joke.
I'm
And
so proud of you. I am so proud that you threw your name in the ring. I'm proud of what you're doing. I think that you're going to move mountains. If there's one person that can take on Brian Mass, it's you.
thank you. I very much appreciate it. And you guys continue to support Danielle on all her endeavors. She is truly out here doing the Lord's work.
I try.
She's out here engaging with these crazy people, and I live vicariously through her because she says some things that I can't say sometimes. So I
That's why I
definitely,
like not having to answer to nobody.
exactly. So I definitely live vicariously through her and her platform. So continue doing what you're doing. I am extremely proud of you and for all the hard work that you are doing. You are
Thank
amazing,
you, thank
amazing
you.
lady.
And thank you
Keep
for
going.
coming on.
Absolutely. Anytime. Anytime you want me to come on here and we can talk shit, absolutely. Let's do
That's a deal. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us for the 49 minutes and change.
it.
I always tell myself 45 minutes, and Trump judge blocks Trump's administration from denying Or conditioning any sanctuary cities. Okay.
See, there you go.
Deny, they
Hey
can't
man, they
condition
standing up.
funding.
They standing up.
I'm telling you, another one and
Another
another one.
one.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And I will see y'all the next time I record an episode. Love you. Bye.